Buenos Dias Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And another one. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a mother. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a mother. Smack at it. Bye-ya. 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 Order, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there. Yes, indeed. And in menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight into it. The craziest white Norteno I ever did time with, right? The craziest one I ever ran into, I ever heard of, I ever seen, I ever sat down next to and actually chopped it up and had a conversation with. And I was like, Spencer, on guard, right? Get this crazy white guy away from me. But at the same time, we were rocking that same narrative, that same cause, man. And we were going to do whatever we had to do, cuz, to make shit happen. On pa, room. Definitely, I was going to rock with the homeboy because he was just that, a homeboy. Now, he was a white guy. Sprinkle him in wood. Sorry, we got him. But at the same time, he was a little different. He was a little out there, a little outlandish. And here's his story. Now, for any of you guys that know where the city of Turlock is located, it's in the Central Valley, the 209 area, right around the corner from Merced, just like right down the street. It's the divider between Merced County and Stanislaus County. It is Stanislaus County, meaning it functions with Modesto, Ceres, Turlock, Keys, all that is part of that, area. And then you have Merced County, Merced, Planet, Livas, all that. But Turlock has always had a quite extensive relationship with Merced, as far as we used to go back and forth and kick it and chop it up and knock their bitches, y todo mine, right? West Side Turlock is known, right? I have a lot of familia. The relationships I have go way back in history as far as the city of Turlock. And I've always rocked with Turlock. Shout out and respects and rest in peace to my my primo Young Skis. A very well-known figure out there. We all know about his demise. Rest in peace, right? Now, out there in the city of Turlock, it's just like any other little small community. It gets vicious. It gets violent at times. But for the most part, it's pretty calm, pretty laid back, pretty kicked back. Being located in between Merced and Modesto, it has I would just say the unfair fucking chance of just having these two entities next to it. So it gets a little bit of both worlds. It gets Vatos that go in there from Modesto, that go get funky, and then you got Vatos from Merced that go get funky. And it's just two totally different estilos. Merced and Modesto have two totally different estilos, but have always been cool because they're Norteño-based cities, meaning there's more Norteños than anything there. But they rock totally differently, just two different patterns of doing the things that they do. So Turlock gets a little bit of both worlds. So like I said, they can get crazy at times. Now, Fred C. Nellis, 1992, I pulled up. I'm looking around. It's the California Youth Authority. I'm saying, fuck it, eh? You know what I mean? Anybody can get it, even me. And that's why anybody can get it. I had that mentality because it was either them or me, and it's gonna be them. Any, meeny, miny, mo. You're the first to go, oh, right? And straight up, yo, I was about that fucking issue. So immediately, we know the story. As soon as I get there, I get off with Joker from Lamparas. I total was ass. And then, of course, like Dorte, I'm getting down the yellow brick road, and they throw my ass in the caja. Now, the caja was the hoyo. Another word for the hole in YA down south especially was the caja, the box, right? Because these rooms were shaped like little boxes. They throw you up in there, and when they opened you, we don't know if you're a moldy or what the fuck you were going to get, because you didn't know when you went in or when you got out. It was just a cold situation. So anyways, I'm doing a little tiempo in that caja, and I remember the way that this fucking box was shaped in Nellis, it was an L. One side was Taft, one side was the oil. And I remember maybe it was like the next day or 2 days after me getting there, the placas come to my door. Turn around, bitch. What? You know what I mean? Cuff up. Shit. They're mean around here, right? I don't even know. Am I supposed to take flight on that one? It didn't matter. I was handcuffed. They're walking me down, and it was like this little day room area. Now, anyone who's been there can tell you, there was a control center right in the middle of this L, and then right off of it was a little, I guess it was a day room. I don't even know what to call it. It was the only time I ever went in there. But it was like a little room. They had a TV on rollers there, and there was these 4 Cadillac chairs. Now, Cadillac chairs, they look like these big old brown vinyl chairs. We had them on each compa, right? Everyone was not assigned a chair, but you fought for a chair. I seen motherfuckers die over those chairs. But anyways, so fucking, there was like 4 vinyl chairs. They're like, sit your ass down. I was like, damn, man, shit, man. I went to jail, so I didn't have to listen to my Efita. This is worse. It's like I got Efitas all over the place, right? Next thing you know, I thought I was going to see cockroaches and Wonder Bread. But anyway, so they sat my ass down. And they handed me a sack lunch. I remember it was a bag, and I was like, fuck it, hey, what's going on here? shit, I'm gonna start fighting more often if I get extra food and shit. Sit your ass down. There was an orange in this bag. I remember I'm looking at that orange. That orange was looking at me. I'm like, oh, I'm about to take you down. I'm starving to death. They sit my ass down, and then all of a sudden the door cracks, and I see another guy shackled up, and they kept me shackled. Okay, not only was I handcuffed, but I was shackled with my hands to the side of what looked like a leather waist belt. My hands were shackled to the side, my feet were shackled, right? I still had some wiggle room where I could get up and handle business if I needed to, but I was gonna have to do this, right? I was gonna go shoulder to shoulder with them. Hey, I could take that fade with the shoulders. It ain't nothing to it but to do it. I got my mind right, homie. I was definitely gonna shine right. So anyways, I'm sitting down like this, kind of wondering what's going on, staring around, scared to death. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I didn't know if this was the old Folsom setup, if they're bringing me out here to get beat up by a whole bunch of Southsiders, or whatever the case may be. All I know is I had an orange and my big ass peep out to my name, and Sasuke, I guess I was gonna have to be proud of that. So I'm sitting my ass down in one of these vinyl chairs, and all of a sudden comes walking in this white guy. Now the first thing that I see with him is that he's very skinny. He had stark bluish green eyes. He had a bald head. It looked like he had a blondish bald head and a Mongolian that was barely forming, right? And I remember I had a Mongolian growing at that time, so we're kind of looking at you. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. I'm like, to what degree of fucking Norteno is this, right? And first thing, this fool had the most vicious, tenacious attitude. He was like, hey, homie, where you from? I was like, right? I said, Merced, homeboy, what's happening? He was like, oh, the Turlock, Holmes, little man from Turlock. That's right. So they sit him next to me, and he was like, hey, what's up, bro? My name's Little Man from Turlock. Now, up until this point, I knew every Norteño that was in that institution. You got to understand that I had rolled up on the second busload there. Okay, there was a bus prior to us, and then there was myself and the bus that I was on. So I remember at that time, I'm sitting down there, and I'm not quite sure how the story goes, if they brought out the homeboy Puerco from San Juan at that time and also sat him down with us. It could have been. I think it was. But I know that me and Gary Smith, that's his name, Little Man from Turlock, were actually sitting there chopping it up. Now, yes, Gary Smith is a legendary figure out of Turlock. Well known. A lot of people that have been around for a long time know exactly who this guy is. He's up there with the Yo-Yos, the Cyclones, and the Geminis out of Turlock, right? Any one of those figures people have heard of that are actually from the West. Crazy Boy and all them guys. Psycho. So I'm chopping it up with this dude, Little Man. I'm trying to get a feel for what his agenda is and what he's about. Because like I said, I came up on the second bus, and I never heard his name yet. So where in the fuck did you get here? Did the aliens just drop you up out of Mars? Listen, you landed right here? A crazy-ass white Norteño ready to ride on everyone? He's like, oh, bro, they brought me in the middle of the night like a few months ago, bro. And I said, well, where are you, bro? I'm in the guy right here. He's like, they keep me in a cell by myself. Hey, as soon as I got here, I booked one of these guys, right? I was like, good Lord. That's my style, right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, bro, ever since I've been here, I've been getting off with these cats. I said, yeah, hey, we're getting deeper on the linea. You should come to the main line and chill with the homeboys. You know what I mean? So I'm getting at him like this, side by side. Some expense. I'm not looking in the camera. I'm reliving shit, right? So I'm getting at him like that. And he was like, man, fuck all that linea shit. Trip out on this, bro. I got me a little something sticking up on my culo. If any one of them cats passes by, because they be bringing people for medical to come up, and just, you never know if people are getting out, they're bringing people in. He goes, any Southsiders you see us, you know what time it is, right? He's like, jump up and get off. I was like, hey, can I finish my orange first? Right? You know what I mean? To what degree of orange, I don't know, but it feels juicy. Yeah, by the way, the way my orange game worked. He was like, man, we're going to get off. Fuck that orange. So at least let me peel it, right? So we're watching. We're waiting for anyone to come. Again, like I said, I don't know if they brought the other homeboy from San Juan. I think they did. Man, it's been over fucking almost 40 years since this shit happened. But we definitely chopped it up and had a conversation. But his mentality and his mind state, because they left us out there for an hour, and everything that I got at him, this would be the one and only time that I did time with him, but his story moves on and goes on. And I know a lot about it. His mind state was know-it-all. This Vato knew everything. I was like, yeah, and then the homeboy, fucking Cyclone from fucking, oh, I know that about this, that's it, I did time a trip out, and he knew everything there was to know about it. So I was going to say, you should have been a fucking scientist, or a lawyer. You're white anyways, they'd have put you right in. Meanwhile, you're a fucking Norteño with half a Mongolian and a fucking knife on your ass. I don't think this is going to work out for you, right? To which it didn't. But let me explain something to you. This guy's whole mind state and his mentality was to go to prison. And I remember I told him, hey, don't even trip, bro. You know what I mean? You're already in the oil. Just do your little fucking tip in the oil. I mean, we're going to get off where we're mad at. If we see any of these guys slipping, of course, bro, we're going to make our next move our best move. That's part of the game. But it is what it is. We're aquí nomás. We're right here. said, "Okay, we're right here, Holmes. You know what I mean? Let's wiggle." And then when the time comes, we'll get off, Holmes, but don't constantly think, get off, get off, get off. I mean, he goes, "Nah, bro, I ain't trying to stay here." I said, "Well, shit, I mean, you ain't got no choice." He said, "To me, it looks like you're the white man with the cuffs on." Would, right? He goes, "Nah, bro, trip out. I'm going to keep getting off on these cats until eventually I catch me an M number and go to prison." Now, that's what was happening at those times. There were guys that literally were in the California Youth Authority, didn't want to be there. They didn't want to stay there. You know, I've ran into a lot of these guys along the lines where they just got tired of the fucking kid games. They got tired of the everyday fighting, or maybe it wasn't enough for them. And they wanted to see what prison be like one time for their mentality. And a lot of these guys, especially from Northern California, would catch these cases, book somebody, get off, sock a staff member, whatever the case may be, and catch that M number and go to YA. Okay? Go to prison from YA. And they thought it was like a shield of honor, like a badge of honor. Like they said, "I made it, eh?" And then they get their tire deflated, eh? You know what I mean? And so, to me, I thought it was in due course and time. See, I was always raised, Holmes, your time will come to shine. Don't trip. You know what I mean? Don't push the envelope, or the envelope will push back. And then your ass will be sealed up in there like, "Oh, I can't get out." And that's exactly what would happen to a lot of these individuals that made their time go further and faster than it should. Everything always works out in due time, you know? Time stops for no man. So that was my mentality, but and I couldn't explain to him because, again, he knew it all, right? So anyways, after this hour-long talk of him fucking constantly, hey, I was like, "Can I have your orange?" "Fuck it, since you're not going to eat it. I'm over here trying to peel it, right?" Bite it like that. I was getting my orange juice Joes on. I saw it walking in the rain. He was over here on fucking Southsider patrol, right? I was like, "Orale, I hope that works out for you." You know what I mean? If they come in here, I'm going to jump up and do a flying fucking somersault kick. Other than that, I said, I don't know. You're on your own. See you in prison when I get there in about 25 years. Anyway, so we had this conversation, and I liked him. I liked the savagery. I liked the warrior and the gangster in him, Holmes. I can tell you right now, I've never to this day, other than one other dude from my water who met a white boy with that type of charisma, that type of knowledge, because he was a smart motherfucker. Even though I said he thought he was smart, lo and behold, the Vato did know what he was talking about, right? Kind of knowledgeable. I don't know if he read books or if he was just born that way. Again, he was a white guy. Sprinkle him in. Sometimes they're just born smart, right? But anyways, this guy definitely was a knowledgeable individual and was down for the cause. That I could say. I remember them putting me back in my cell. I was like, "All right, now see you the next time." I was flabbergasted on why they even did this to us, put us out there. Maybe this was a meeting of the minds they wanted us to meet, or maybe it was just a fuck up, or maybe something was happening. I don't know. To what degree of ever going out there again? Never. You know, the wind never blew that way. They never brought us out again. That was an experiment gone wrong, I guess. And that was that. Anyways, so I never ran into him, and I don't even know where they put him in the oil, because I remember hollering down the tira like, "Little man, expense on the tira, little man," and everyone was like, "Who the fuck you talking to, baboso?" It was like I ran into a ghost. Was he or wasn't he there? I remember getting at a few of the homeboys later on, like, "Hey, you heard of the homeboy Little Man from Turlock?" And some of the homeboys were like, "Oh yeah, that's the homeboy Gary Smith, the white boy." I was like, "Yeah, skinny ass white boy, crazy fucking just down for whatever." I said, "That's him." I said, "Yeah, I ran into him." They're like, "Nah, he ain't here." I said, "Nah, fool's here." So scared, or was the ghost of Gary passed? Either way, that Vato was here. I was in the day room with them chopping it up. Chopping gang is ready to stab everyone on the compa. They were like, "Yeah, hey, we're with them in OH clothes and, you know, different YA." And I was in, and I heard a lot of stories about this individual. This individual, every compa he went to, he booked somebody. Every compa he went to, he got off immediately as soon as he got there on the enemy, the adversary, or the guys from the other side, which at that time would be the Southsiders, because the Perro Chatos were still Norteños. So I can't say that he was out there fucking getting off with the Bulldogs, because he wasn't, you know. Now, you know, his name would be brought up and mentioned every so often. And like I say, you know, the title to this is The Craziest White Norteño I Ever Did Time With. You know, and I could sit here, and there's been a lot of crazy white guys that I've done time with, men, white boys that were Norteños, you know, of a Norteño cause, that were down, you know. But there's a difference between being down and handling your business and conducting yourself like a professional and like a fucking man ready for fucking guerra. And then there's fucking a difference between a fucking crazy vato like that. Okay, that's the title, right? Now, let me tell you something, in a menudo stand in direct fashion. This individual right here was that different level. Okay, he was that A1A. He was that one type of guy that every story I heard about him, and I heard so many stories throughout the years of doing time, throughout the years of YA, Two guys that extensively did time with him all the way into prison, and what his demise was. That I eventually, every story I heard, it was just craziness on top of craziness on top. He never had no stop. Okay, I know a lot of people are going to be like, that's a soldier right there. That's a real one. That's a real crazy one. Okay, like I said, everything, nature takes its course. Everything works out in due time. I know some homeboys that are fucking literally down for the cause, or I know some people that are down for their fucking agenda or whatever they got going on. And to them, I say, solidarity and victory, homes. You're headed that way. But in real life, when they say forever forward, that means go forever forward, but at a fucking regular pace. This vato was trying to get there fast forward, and I just didn't understand why, and later it became apparent to the reasonings, and here it is. So I always wondered, I always flashed back to that day room and a conversation we had, and hearing these stories about, hey, he got off with the Africanos, he booked like 3 of them in OH clothes. That's why they sent him to Nellis in the middle of the night. And I had heard that he had got there prior to all of us getting there. They just were trying to get rid of him. Administration was trying to bury him. They buried him in the caja over there. He hit the main line for one day. He booked a guy in the chow hall. He caught him slipping because he was a white guy. Dude asked him, why you got a funny haircut like that? He got off. They sent him immediately from Nellis. They ended up sending him, I think it was to Chad. Once they opened up Chad, he got off first day there. He caught his M number, to which he went to prison. He gets to Tracy. He books a couple guys there, does a couple pegadas. He ends up ultimately in Pelican Bay. Okay? Now I've met people that have done time with him in Pelican Bay. And, I don't know what they have to say about it. But yeah, he definitely was in the Bay. I don't know if he was in D facility or what facility he was in, but I know he did do time in the Bay. And that's where the story ended for a lot of people with him. They would say, last I heard that Vato was in the Bay, Holmes. Facts, confirmed. I said, is that right? All right, yeah, I heard a lot throughout the years about the guy, and, I did time with him. And what happened was he ultimately ends up getting out. Same old Gary Smith, same old little man's out there rocking and rolling on the guys, goes back to prison and fucks up somewhere along the line with the cause, finds himself at bad standards and ends up getting his life took in Tracy and DVI. Ultimately who did it, why they did it, to what degree of did it, it's did, and that's it. Someone like that, you can see his demise coming from 10 miles away, from 14 miles away. There you go, Gary. Rest in peace, right? You can see it coming because not only was he a breath of fresh air for the cause, not only was he vicious and what you would expect in a warrior and someone that was down for whatever, but he also was a hindrance. You become a hindrance when you're doing way too much and you just don't listen because you think you're smarter than everybody else. When that becomes an issue, when you're fucking boasting and bragging and all this becomes an issue to anybody and anything. I'm not just speaking about the Nortenos. That's not my business. I'm speaking about any type of thing, whether it be fucking the police academy, all the way up to the homeless guy in the corner. When you start becoming a hindrance to the program of what people got going on, Holmes, you must go. Hell no, you must go. Hell no, you must go, Holmes. Right? And that's just what it be like, and that's why he lost his life. Being himself, and at the end of the day, being himself was just a little too much. I said straight up. Now, why he always wanted to go to prison, I always wondered. Okay, was it trying to prove to everyone that he was the big bad Norteno? He already was that. We already respected him as such. The moment that he said he was that, Holmes, and that he proclaimed the city of Turlock on his motherfucking stomach, Holmes, and this is what he rocks, we were down with him till the wheels fell off, right? No, I guess he had a jefito that he had a very strong bond with, a relationship with, that was in prison, and his whole strive, his whole life was to get there by any means necessary. That way he could function with his father in due time and continue that bond. Did that ever happen? I only hope it did for his sake. But along the lines, there comes a man with a story, and this was his story. He was definitely one of the craziest white Norteños ever in the history of Norteñoism. For those who did time with him in the 90s or happened to run across him, they will, I'm sure they'll let you know. He was the type of individual, didn't seem like he was much, looked like if the wind blew hard, he'd fly away. But if you let him get close to you and you put your guard down, he will book you, indubitably. That's just the type of individual he was. Like I said, when I looked into his eyes, I didn't see blank. I didn't see craziness. I seen he knew exactly what he was doing and how to do it and why he wanted to do it and was down to do it. And those are the most scariest individuals because those are the ones that are calculated, smooth, and ready to go whenever the show fucking starts, period. Anyways, just a little story about little man Gary Smith, the craziest white Norteño I ever did time with. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, Sasuke, there was a nice little story for you. If you do, then you know, and now you know some more. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about struggling and struggling for your familia and all the real ones in your life. Sasuke, I ain't trying to go to prison. You trying to go to prison? I ain't trying to go to prison, right? I mean, if I have to go, I have to go. I said, then I'll do what I have to do, cuz. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to go there. I'm trying to go to Wiener Schnitzel. Get me 4 chili cheese dogs and some chili cheese fries and a strawberry lemonade. Bang, bang. If you like this, hit that like and subscribe with a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears this LA Dodger crown. I'm a motherfucker continue to strive and struggle and do what I does, cuz, and truly remain that one individual right here on YouTube trying to bring everybody together, man, because I think it's the right thing to do. When I say bring them together, not to quit gangbanging, not to fucking get away from their causes and all that. Charlie Holmes, I'm not a poisonous individual. I don't spread the gospel of poison, Holmes. I spread the gospel of unity for brown people to open up doors so that way we can have a chance to shine as well. All of us, North and South. Perro chatos y oh my. Right? The gun. Bang, bang.